Alright, still day 5, and it is back to Falling Block puzzle games. But finally, a different one. Not another version of Puyo Puyo. Instead, it is Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Now, I don't know anything about who the best character is or anything. This is gonna be exactly like Puyo Puyo. I'm just going to play the game, and eventually, if I keep trying, I will eventually win. I do just need to remember how to play Super Puzzle Fighter 2. Like, I know how to play, it's just you have to come at it with a different sort of mentality than you would Puyo Puyo, because it is a very different game. So it's about making chains and combos. It's just when you get more than 4, it's not going to automatically make things disappear like it does in Puyo Puyo. Instead, you have to wait until you get these orbs, and then the orb will break all around. So you can stack up as much as you want before you cash out, as long as you get an orb you can cash out. So really it is very similar to Puyo Puyo, just a little bit different. Oh, this game has hard dropping. Interesting. I don't know when Puyo Puyo started doing hard dropping. But I don't think the first few games have it. But that I do think is what kind of makes this game very interesting compared to Puyo Puyo. Is instead of it just being about the chains you can make, it's a lot more about kind of a balance of the two. Getting big chains, but also having a lot of blocks in your chain. Whereas Puyo Puyo really, it's going to be a very, very minimal effect. How many Puyos you have in each match. It is purely just about making sure you're getting those chains. But, I mean, this will probably just end up being kind of the same experience as Puyo Puyo was. Where I kind of just keep playing until I eventually win. I think I have struggled a bit on some levels in this game in the past, but I don't think I've ever struggled on it as much as some of the Puyo Puyo levels. Ooh, I might lose here. Oh, yeah. Oh, well. Can't always take all that out. And that was honestly probably the worst color I could have taken out. I just really need to be able to take out this red, though. Then taking out all that red without even getting a chain still did 57 damage and pretty much won me the level. So I didn't have to do a chain, really. And in fact, that was a chain. It just didn't do that much. Because I think it seems like the game's really only looking at how many gems you cleared. If you do a chain, maybe that adds like 1 extra. Or a couple extra. So if you did a chain of 2 really big combos, that would probably be good. But it seems like getting a really big... I'm actually surprised I won. That was getting very close to the end. It seems like the number of gems you get is kind of takes precedent over getting chains, whereas in Puyo Puyo, you really don't even want to bother with getting high matches. Really, I shouldn't even be building up this side of the board. I should be focusing on the left side, because I have more blocks to work with over there, since there's 3 rows to the left where I'm safe, whereas there's only 2 on the right. Alright, I probably need to actually start stacking though. I was kind of trying just to brute force it, but they cleaned up their board, so now I'm kind of just getting peppered to death. It did give me a chain, which hopefully can do something for me. Definitely seems like this is more of a game where things can kind of change at any moment, since the garbage blocks do eventually turn back into normal blocks. It's not like in Puyo Puyo, where if you get too much garbage built up towards the top of your screen, you're likely never going to be able to clear it, just because you don't have enough pieces to do anything with. I wonder if you get less attack if you use the diamond over a normal. Orb. It seems like the diamond would be pretty OP at that point if it gave you the same amount of damage. Yeah, it not being that difficult to really, like, catch up and make back progress. Like, if this was Puyo Puyo, if I'd gotten that close to the top in a lot of the other boards, or the other levels, like, it probably would have been over in Puyo Puyo, but it's not that bad in this game. I might lose here, because it is very, very built up here. But I can also clutch it out. Oh, his board's so bad, though. Yeah, definitely way easier to clutch out a win in this game than it is in Puyo Puyo. At least in those early Puyo Puyos. Kind of also does make it seem like, though, that there's going to be a lot lower chance that they just, like, randomly kill themselves like they would in Puyo Puyo. They're probably not going to have a 30-second final boss, like I had in both versions of Mean Bean Machine. And honestly, I don't even remember how long it was in Kirby's Avalanche, but it was still pretty short. I just think I lost once to DDD Whereas I didn't lose at all to Robotnik in either version of Mean Bean Machine. I don't think there's like many other versions of this game. I would need to see. I don't know if this is like a localization thing that they called it Street Fighter or made it similar to Street Fighter. Similar to how, you know, Tetris Attack is paneled upon, but called Tetris and has Yoshi instead of the fairies. Or how Kirby's Avalanche was Puyo Puyo but with Kirby. But I don't know if there's like any other versions of this game. I do know there's obviously multiple Puyo Puyos, there's multiple Tetris games, and whatever. But if there's multiple versions of this game, that would definitely make things easier in the challenge, because this is pretty darn short. Especially because unlike the Puyo Puyo games, I have not lost a single match. I don't think that necessarily means I'm better at this game than Puyo Puyo. I think this is straight up just an easier game than Puyo Puyo, just because of how it's designed. Maybe not necessarily easier, but more forgiving at least. Oh, okay, well, there's the first loss. Okay, have to remember not to mash, just like Genesis Mean Bean Machine. And I think Kirby's Avalanche did that as well, but I might be misremembering that. I don't think Genesis or Game Gear Mean Bean Machine did that. I guess though it would be a lot harder to make chains in this game, since you are dependent on getting the orbs. So it's not just about setting yourself up for a chain, it's also about making sure you have the exact piece you need. I also don't know if this game does the thing some of the later Puyo Puyo and Tetris games do, to where if you're taking oncoming damage, and then you get a different combo. I don't know if that like takes away the damage from you and gives the remainder to the enemy. I think it does, because it looks like that's just what happened when I had 3 damage, I did like a 5 combo, and then it just took the damage away. I didn't take that 3 damage. Alright, so I guess there's one more level than I thought. Okay, yeah, that is how it goes. I don't know what Puyo Puyo or Tetris game started that. That is a very, very nice feature, though. I think when I first saw it, I kind of didn't care for it, just because I was so used to the older Puyos I knew. But it is actually just straight up a better feature. Because if you have a really, really good combo setup, and then the enemy just gets a ton of damage, well, that doesn't matter, because if you take the damage first, then you just lose. I think what bothered me about it initially was just then it was like sometimes you get a combo, and if you were taking low damage, well then now your combo is worse because the enemy happened to do damage right beforehand. Whereas, you know, you'd want the... Sometimes if you're taking low damage, you would want just to still have the full effects of your combo, because it would be more worth it for them to take more damage than it would for you to take less damage. But there are a lot of scenarios in which sometimes that getting rid of the damage is the only way you would be able to survive. You have no shot at surviving otherwise. I messed up there, but maybe it's fine. Okay. I didn't know if that was gonna count. I still lose though, but... No? I'm still barely hanging in there. Which would not be possible in Puyo Puyo. It's because these, junk blocks are turning back to normal at the right time, so the orbs can remove them. Oh, but this is where I lose probably, right? Although that was a situation to where had I gotten the full effect of that, maybe I could have done massive damage and like really won. But I probably would have died if I didn't deflect that damage. That's going to do a combo into the green, plus then I can get this massive blue. And I can combo the yellow to green, which would have guaranteed my win if I didn't already win. That's not the final level, though. This is the final level. I do remember this level being, like, kind of tricky. But I don't think it's... Again, I think it's the same kind of difficulty that one of the Puyo Puyo games would have. I might lose a couple times and have to restart a couple times, but I don't think it's one where I'm gonna, like, legitimately get stuck. But maybe. I didn't get a super tiny chain there. This probably didn't do anything, though. As I also think another interesting thing about this game is that if you do stack 4 in a row, or 4 in a square, they do, like, form into the big block. And the big block doesn't fall down like other gems do. So I don't know if it's ever really worth it to make one of the big blocks. I'm gonna try and set up a chain, but I need to just try and do as much damage to him. Yeah. If I had made a move, like, just slightly ahead, I probably could have actually beaten him, because he had his stuff stacked pretty high. is already going very poorly, except I get a pretty... No, that combo didn't even do anything, because he was giving me more damage. I do need to be making, like, bigger combos. I'm making such small moves, it's not doing anything to him. I guess that is just what makes this fight hard. Is since he's, like, constantly giving you damage, how much time do you really have to set up a combo? If he's constantly doing damage, so you're countering him more than you're actually doing damage, and you know, all the time you're spending to try and set up a good move, he's doing other moves. He's again just peppering me. Nothing I can do, my board is so built up and his was so low. I really did just start stacking that as if this was Puyo. But that red in the middle wasn't doing anything for me. Yeah, it's just... I couldn't get any orbs. I had so many blocks built up and just got no orbs. So, I mean, what was I supposed to do other than just wait till he got enough damage? Or at least no orbs that I would have really liked to have used. So that kind of combo, oh, I can't really tell how much damage it did. Would have been pretty good if he hadn't gotten the damage close to me. I need to stop building up there. That's just letting him be able to give damage to the spot that's gonna kill me. But I just have no way to build up anything at this point. all about just trying not to lose at this point, and every single time you have a good move you can do. It's just too much damage. And it is just that easy. Again, like with Puyo, and well, Puyo, because that's the only one I've done so far. In this game, it is just play until you get lucky enough to win. Fail upwards. Because I was not playing well. He just was giving me so much damage. I had absolutely no counterplay. I was just kind of stacking randomly in hopes that I would just get a really lucky play. And yeah, I just happened to get good orbs. I happened to get some big combos and some big chains. And that's really all it takes to win, is just kind of let him just give you so much damage to where you just can build up very big chains. Yeah, 16 games done. I do need to look into what some of the other Falling Block puzzle games there are to do. Because there's obviously still Tetris Attack. I think that one's pretty easy. There still is original Puyo Puyo, Puyo Puyo 2. There's Kirby Star Stacker if I feel like that one I need to do. But that's only going to be if I need to do it, because again, that game's like Puyo Puyo, or not Puyo Puyo, Mean Bean Machine on Game Gear, Kirby's Avalanche were all around 30 minutes. I think both the Mean Bean Machines were a little over 30 minutes. Kirby's Avalanche was maybe 27 minutes. This game, 25 minutes. The other Puyo Puyos are probably also going to be around there. It's probably not going to be that long for Tetris Attack. Kirby's Avalanche is like 4 hours long because the levels are just so long and there's just so many of them. So possibly do that one, but also maybe not.